Change is a constant in life. That is one thing that they assure you, each and every one of us, that change will happen, and it will happen to all of us. So I'm going to talk about digital marketing and how change affects us, and how we as individuals, as digital marketers, should adapt to this. I should also say that, however, that it is a must and it happens to all of us, I personally struggle with change. When I'm used to a level where I'm comfortable or reaches a point where it's my new normal, I normally struggle with a new change. I know I have to change. I know I have to adapt. I know I have to do things better, but I normally struggle. There are various stages that we go through in life and in business. Think about when you're a child, when you're a teenager, when you're an adult. Those are various levels of those stages where how you think is different from how you think when you're at a different stage, how you operate, how you move, how you do everything. That changes all the time. So in the field of digital marketing, I'm going to talk about three things or three changes that happens in our industry that we should be comfortable and aware about. I'm going to talk about technology changes. I'm going to talk about political or regulatory changes. Then I'm going to talk about, lastly, human beings, us people, how changes affects our industry. So straight to the top, I'm going to talk about technology changes. First, I'm going to talk about technologies that you're already using or things that you're already used to. We have Google, we have Meta properties, there's TikTok, there's LinkedIn. All these businesses, all these industries, all these technologies, at some point they change, whether you like it or not. I'm going to give you an instance where my Facebook personal account was restricted for whatever reason, and boom, I lost it. And then when that happened, I'm not able to advertise. So on the night prior, everything was working well, everything was good. The next day, it was taken away from me. There are things that I am told my account did that nobody could figure out, but at the end of the day, I'm without a Facebook account. So this is stuff that happens to most of us. Just the rug is pulled under you. And then there are times when new technology is introduced or new technology is taken away from you, and you can't operate like they were used to. Let me give you a very good example. How AI has just came to the scene now. There's AI this, AI that. There's ChatGPT, Perplexity, Sonar, Canva, a ton of good examples. But these technologies, these opportunities were not there 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. This is an instance for change. And the effect on the industry is massive. There have been a ton of job losses, a ton of lawsuits, because of wrong use of the technologies. And this is an example of how change is affecting you. And then also, back to the organization or the technologies I was talking about earlier, Meta, Google, TikTok, LinkedIn. Every year, they try and improve their solutions. They try and improve the technology to make it way better. So you find Meta and Google for now. I'm not sure about LinkedIn. I will have to check to confirm for you. But every year they do a keynote. And with every keynote, they talk about new features they're introducing. They talk about new features they're taking away. They're talking about how they're going to try and make things more better friendly, user friendly for people and for their audience. So this is stuff that you'll have to pay attention to and adapt to. Having a discussion about political or regulatory changes, think about stuff like data privacy and data protection. There are very strict and serious rules about data usage, especially in Europe. The GDPR is very, very strong and very important to them. So when you're marketing or advertising to people in Europe, you have to be very careful with how you handle or use their data. With regards to, in addition to politics or regulatory laws, think about technologies. I know 4 years ago, 5 years ago, Apple have stopped letting cookies being used on their devices. So they are insisting that any company that tracks their users on their phones will be banned. So cookies were taken away. And this is something that users were used to. Now, Google is also killing cookies. Samsung phones are also killing cookies. So this is stuff that you have to, this is an example of technology changes or regulatory changes that happens without your know-how. When it comes to politics, think about situations or times when the ruling party or the political party tries to effect change on the industry. I can give you very good examples. Starting with third world countries, whenever the political debate is heated or wherever there is insane things happening, like think about what happened in Nepal the other day when the internet was switched off due to the demonstrations or the rallies that were going on. One of the ways the ruling elite tried to control the people is by switching off the social media. Another good example is when Trump was coming into, when the first time he was in power, he wanted to switch off TikTok because of the fear of data use and the fear of privacy. So these are rules, or these are instances where politics plays a heavy role in changes in the digital marketing space. So how do you address and how do you adjust to this? Well, number one, the good thing with politics, sometimes you're given a period. There is a lag effect between the policy making until it becomes an actual law. So you have a lot of time to learn, to adjust, and to be better. When it comes to the things that are uncontrollable or sudden, like for example, if the ruling elite decide to switch off the internet, there's very little you can do about that. In such an instance, all you have to do is just ride the wave and hope things will turn back on quicker or sooner. When a certain company or a certain organization decides to pull the rug under you by changing its laws, like for example, what Apple did in terms of tracking cookies, there you just have to look for other ways to make it work. I'll have a very good example as well with Google SEO. Because of AI mode, Google SEO has taken a very big hit in terms of informational searches. Now, the only searches that are really working with Google are transactional searches in terms of when somebody is looking to buy something, not when people are looking for information about a certain product or service. So with such instances, you'll have to shift all your content away from informational to transactional, where it can be found easily. My final point is changes in the people, changes in the market. Think about COVID-19. When it came about, the whole world changed. How people approach stuff then and how people approach stuff now is very, very different. People now value time. People now value family. People are less inclined about their jobs. People are more inclined about pleasure and taking care of themselves and being very intentional. This is stuff that wasn't as obvious or as prevalent in before. So the whole market and the whole mind shift changed. Now people, as a marketer, you have to see how to address and look at the new changes. Another example of how change happens with people is in your organization. You're always bringing in people. You're always letting go of some people. When you let go of some people, they've gone with institutional knowledge. They've gone with experience. They've gone with expertise. When you bring in people, they're coming up with new mindsets. They're coming up with new ideas, new ways of doing things. So you have to find ways of adjusting. You have to find ways of absorbing them into your culture. Well, you ensure that you maintain why you brought them, because you bring in professionals, you bring in experts, you bring out change leaders to make your organization better. You bring them not to be like you, but to complement or augment what you're doing to be way, way better. Whether we like it or not, change happens. I struggle with change. I like things being the way they are, but I know things happen and, I have to move around. I know when the man upstairs wants to take me to the next level, he introduces incredible turmoil for me to be ready to adjust and work on the next level. So I know that transition period is normally a challenge for me, but like me and you, we have to learn to adapt. We have to get better. We have to learn to be okay with the next situation or the next opportunities that come with change. And with that, I'll say goodbye.